Look around. The more you look around at life, you see the patterns of life unfold. The fact that we can even see patterns and recognize that they're repeatable and then have them to continue to repeat is a universal structure of reality, yes, but it's also a confirmation that the reality that we think we're in is just something a bit different. Because when you even ponder existence at all, you'll see truly how deeply strange everything is, including yourself and how you're linked into it. And so, life is a game, life is a movie, it's like a predetermined generator a lot of times. It's just like, it's kind of confusing how it actually works when you get down to the nitty gritty details of how do you change your life. It's not as straightforward and as intuitive that you might think, because what often can be seen as like good and like the best thing to do can actually set you back. And things that look like they're going to set you back end up being good. And all you need to do is just have enough life experience just on this planet walking the earth to recognize that fact about reality. It's like this bad thing happened to me in my past, and like turns out 5 years later it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Talk to anyone, they all have a story that has something like that. And there's also instances where like this bad thing happened to me 5 years ago and it actually tore my life down and I never did recover. And so therefore it was the bad thing that happened that's the reason I'm in the situation. Like there is this certain potency to life itself, which like it can be this way, it can be the opposite of that, but it really can be that. But then in another realm, it can like be the opposite of that or different to it. And it's just like the more you truly do ponder life itself, everything kind of is everything and nothing is nothing. And I guess when you adopt that mindset, you can also adopt the mindset that nothing makes sense. I don't have a purpose and why should I continue on? The thing is, that's not really the best mindset to approach this life, this game of reality. Because knowing all these concepts about life, you have to recognize that, well, then it appears that the game is a little bit dynamic. It's fluid in a sense. There are things and buttons which we think are there that we can press, but when you press it, nothing happens. And so, what I've been basically trying to do is like figure out what exactly are those ethereal buttons out there in your own personal universe in which you can press and watch a thing happen, or press and notice that there's no interaction, but apparently there's some stigma as to no, you can't do that because XYZ. I think that the more I'd live my life, I've recognized a few things about it. And one fundamental concept about video games, I mean, I never really played a whole lot of video games, but I'm familiar with the idea of it. I'm actually like kind of working on a video game, ironically. The thing is, life has all these side missions. There's all these aspects to your life which feel like they're really important. You got to do this thing. If you don't do this thing, you're going to catastrophically fail in some domain of the game and never really finish your loading bar all the way to 100% because you failed this mission. So there's like main missions to the game, main missions to your life, key objectives, things that you just gotta do. And then there's the side quests, the aspects to the game which are like cool if you go off the road and off the path and learn these things. You can collect a couple jewels and get a little bit of key insight as to how to do the next level, but they're not really important. And I think that when it comes to like even spirituality is basically about kind of taking that tool, embedding it within you as a structure so that you can perceive the world in a brand new way, that you can actually like play the game like in more HD. That's basically like what spirituality I think is trying to do, is to just help you understand, hey, you are in a game. This place is a video game. This place, to a certain extent, is moldable. It's malleable. You can do all these cool things with it. You can learn to balance your energy and watch life around you change and all these cool little metrics. But when it comes down to it, I think spirituality and really focusing on your life from the spiritual lens actually can like kind of hinder you in a lot of ways, because spirituality is one of those things that if you're so focused on how you need to find the answer to the universe, and the universe being like unlocking all of the portals within yourself such that you are complete in your fullest awareness. It's like you're viewing yourself from this like three-dimensional shape-shifting container with all these holes in it, and you need to constantly plug the holes or fill them in or find the puzzle piece and gather it and like put it into yourself to make yourself feel a certain way so that you can continue to play the game. The thing about that is like it doesn't even sound true. The more I learn about life, the more I learn about spirituality to a certain extent, the less I realize that I have holes within myself. And the more I recognize that it's not about how you're flawed, it's about the power and the amplification of your raw power that you have right now. How much can you just amplify the energy that you have now into creating things that are meaningful and that actually provide some type of result for you to incentivize you to keep that loop of power going? It's not about being still and soft and finding your peace and locating your trauma and trying to find out which trauma is linked to another trauma, which is linked to another trauma, and going down this storyline of your life. Because what happens when you're so caught up in the past of an instance of how you were affected, you're bringing that actively into your present. And so it's like, well, I mean, do you want to bring more of the past into the present? Seems like yes. Well, why is there such an attachment to the past having to also match exactly the present? Because all that will do is continue the future in the same way that you experience the past because you're trying to reflect on the past from the present to fix the future. And you kind of see how, like, if you just fix the loop and bring it forward, you're only focused on present and forward, that it doesn't kind of create that trifecta loop of going here, going here, going here, and back to here, kind of like the infinity symbol wants to tell you. And so there's so many qualities to the nature of this reality, which once you get a good grasp of it, I think that you probably will want to help people. I mean, I'm kind of still I don't exactly know what it means to help people because when I deeply look at my life and the game that I've lived, the story that I've had, all the aspects that have made me me, well, I don't really see a whole lot instances where people helped me through the spiritual path directly. There was never anyone who just, here's the code, and now that I, the teacher, have given you the code, now you should be better. And I helped heal you or helped create a position within you to remap and recoordinate yourself, and poof, there you go. I've never met anyone in my life who has had that tremendous type of power or impact for me. And so I guess in a certain degree, perhaps I'm making this channel to be that for you. Because a lot of what I have to say is actually directly anchored towards my 15-year-old self. If I was talking to my 15-year-old self right now, everything I'm making this video all about is everything I would tell him. Because I think that young people, they're kind of genius. Because they're tapped into something which feels so vital. It's so youthful. It's so that everything is now and there is no future. There is no past. I'm just gonna keep living. I think when you keep that quality of reality and you embed it and kind of keep that with you your entire life, if you only just do that, that's gonna be how you're gonna win the game. That's how you win the game, is if you keep your youthfulness and your kick about you. I see a lot of people, they lose that. They lose their ability to question reality around them. They lose their curiosity. They lose their, oh, how's that happen? How did that work? Oh, they don't want to know. And I think those are some of the aspects of the game that kind of just start to beat you down. When you're no longer curious about life, then there really is no point to life, because then what are you actually experiencing? Because curiosity seems to be the actual bridge to interpretation of your environment. You have to actually be actively interpreting your environment, and your environment always is shifting around, moving, changing. And so there's always new information. And so if you're not constantly updating yourself with the new information about your reality and how you're processing life, then it's almost like a portion of your soul is just like not there. You're just not actually in the driver's seat within your brain or your mind or your spirit or whatever. You're not there. And so the bridge between interpretation of reality is also going to have a quality of just being curious about what the answer is. How does that work? How does this work? How does that work? Noticing patterns, recognizing patterns, taking the patterns, storing them somewhere else. These are all really key quality aspects about being a human. I think that in spirituality, there almost takes this, it's kind of like a mashup of recognizing that these things are true, I should develop these things, whatever, but there's still this such internally focused of your being that you just, it's like if you look inwards to yourself, all you will find is infinity. Like, it's just one of those things that, like, of course. So if you find infinity within yourself, there will always be an infinite landscapes of things in which you can process, feel into, shapes and movies that you can convince are real. And all of those things, at a certain point in the game of life, if you adopt spirituality into your mentality towards how you want to operate in life, you have to recognize the risk to reward ratio of where you actually place your time and attention, and whether putting your time and attention on those things actually produces a result that would incentivize to continue to do that pattern. I think like with spirituality, for instance, it's kind of unquantifiable in a lot of ways. Because like, okay, you got some spiritual download, you got some insight from the universe, and you go to directly apply it, and it somehow helps you. There will be times where you'll get a download from the universe, and it will help you. It's like, oh, I needed that right now at that moment. And then you'll get another one. Oh, I needed that right now. And then you get that. But then other times you get a download, but then all it does is send you like a package to unwrap. It tells you something about yourself, but then those ones we don't like. So nope, no utility, nothing there. I don't want to look at it. Just nope, throw it away, put in the trash bin. But so many of life's downloads that life is actively giving you is telling you how you're still not enough. You're still not who you actually want to be. You're almost there. You're going to be there, but you're not there right now. And the spirituality phenomenon, the spirituality community, all the ideas of it always wants to tell you that you're right there. You are enough. Close your eyes, just be. And for me, as a young kid adopting that mindset, that was single-handedly the worst information I could have ever been given. Because there's a certain quality about yourself that if you're not striving towards something, if you don't even have the basic foundational motivation to become something at all, you never will become that or never learn along the journey of everything that you need to do to even become the person that you need to be. Because again, there's this need to be destiny sort of archetype which we all have, which appears to want to come out as a result of a combination of doing, a degree of spiritual insight that comes from action, life experience, and just like the raw nature of time. There are qualities to our nature which will just be pulled out of us and crystallized into a form which will just happen like in time. And spirituality, they want to tell you, I guess, like, you're just okay right now, just tap into the infinite of the universe. But I don't really ever see a whole lot of people actually telling you, well, how do I do that? How do I find myself? How do I actually do all these things, which all we've built a curriculum around it. We have all these resources. We have all these words. We've built a language, all these things. But like, how do I just go from point A to point B? How do I transition out of my state that I'm in now into an actual state where I'm more self-realized as a result of doing XYZ? The thing is, spirituality and the concepts around it don't really endorse these ideas because it's seen as perhaps too industrial. It's too, you don't need to figure it out. Just let it be, let it go, let go of your mind, don't process things, and everything's going to be fine. You see, all of these ideas, if you take them with you in the life journey through your game, through your reality, you'll recognize that some of these ideas work, some of these ideas don't. And all the mental baggage that you hold on to as you're trying to navigate your own life and your reality, if you're kind of contradictorily put in all these positions which anchor you in all these different angles that kind of tie you up, you really can't move around. And a lot of beliefs are basically like that. A lot of beliefs are basically tangling you up here and here and here and here simultaneously. So when you try to move any position on the grid and actually achieve your mission, you basically can't, because it's like you're tied up. You're in an energetic quantum cybernet called your beliefs and the mind that is projected around you. So you actually just like can't process life correctly, because geometrically speaking and even physically, you can't move. And so spirituality, in a lot of ways, they're trying to find out the answers to their soul, and also trying to figure out beliefs and where those exist. Where do beliefs exist? Where can I actually find myself? Where can I actually find all the qualities of myself that can help me rebuild myself in the most tangible way that I can move forward from? And the thing is, man, it's like all of it is mentalism to a certain degree. Spirituality is something that you shouldn't have to focus on. You shouldn't have to focus on you as the character, your own psychological context of how you're processing life. If you're even focusing on that at all, it shows a disconnection with the real authenticity of your spirit. If you actually have to kind of create a third party connection between the real you, the artificial you, the experience, and kind of bounce these things back and forth, it's like that infinity symbol of collapsing past, present, and future time again. So much of life is just knowing what's the right information. What is the information that actually just makes sense, and how can I install that into my mind, install that into my reality, and not try to like do any other thing other than that. If you just do what makes sense, do what makes sense to you for a while. Don't watch anyone else. Don't try to interpret other people's worldview and how their worldview has to fit into your worldview. Only think about the ideas that otherwise you would have only thought about. And if you just go that path for a while, and you radically trust your intuition about that, and you check yourself, and every time you're not becoming real, you just snap yourself out of it and make yourself real again, you'll find that that is basically all of the components that you need to design your life. You really don't need too many other things. Everything else is an add-on. Everything else is a side quest. It's cool, you can do it, but what's it gonna do? It's gonna give you like 2 to 5% up on the game. It's gonna get you like one little magical token that you can use in another part of the game that you probably are never gonna go visit anyway. I mean, what's the actual point of all these extra side quests, all these extra little things? The thing is, we all intuitively know that there is a type of level system to reality. There are literally people that are just on different levels. And I think the hardest part for a lot of people is to actually look at the level that they're on. What level are you on? Just like, are you on level 0? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to like 99. Like, what level are you on? And I think that in a lot of ways, like, your mind can be on a certain level, your body can be on a certain level, and everything else that's all connected to us all probably has a different level or a type of gauge system. And so I think that's also a problem with how we process our own individual reality, is we're just on like different levels of each component of our body and our mind connection. And then we have beliefs that are also associated at different levels that are entangled that don't even like fit together if you just were to write all these things down. This belief plus this one plus this one plus this one. Of course, you're in a state of no action or nothing's working out because how could these things work out? Because they don't even make any sense together. Individually, they all make sense, but together they don't. So many people's beliefs are like that. The thing is, when you're trying to become your wholest version of yourself, you'll recognize that it's a lot of your beliefs that will hold you down. And so it's about having the right ones, not necessarily having a bunch of them. It's just about knowing which beliefs work for you, which help you amplify your energy so you actually become more that you want to be, and which beliefs just kind of you got installed when you were young or by friends or by people in the spiritual community even who want to tell you a certain way about life or new age this, new age that, or whatever. Which beliefs do you hold within you that if you just stopped believing it right now, you like cut a cord between that belief and the connection that it has to you, like just cut it, would your just life improve if you just didn't have that belief anymore? And again, what is the risk to reward ratio of believing this? Why do you have to believe it? Who said this thing is true? And do they even think it's true? And do you even believe that they think it's true for them? If you actually pay attention to reality itself, to life itself, to people, to emotions, to the whole interweavings of reality and how things are intricately connected, and you pay attention to the patterns, you see things behind the screen of reality, you really pay attention, you'll recognize that so much of everything is just a hallucination. It's just a mirage sliding in front of your eyes in a certain arrangement which tells you, hey, find this thing meaningful, find this thing meaningful. Make use of this, put this here, put this here. It's not actually something that's real. It's real in the sense that it's there, it's visible, you can see it, but it's not real in the sense that you need to grab it, pick it up, carry it, put it in your inventory, and to make use of that now and carry it along with you for like the next 12 of your journeys that you have to go on. Not really. You don't need all these extra tools, all these extra ideas, extra baggage, extra side quests that are going to drain all your energy and all your items. You have to focus on the main missions of your life. The things that actually are just going to push your life forward. Not all this extra, just the main objectives. Identify the objectives of your life and don't make them simple. I mean, make them so that like it would, like if you did it, it'd be pretty cool, right? But, you know, only focus on those for a while. And it's unbelievable to me how not common that is. Because on social media, you're basically told by everyone. Everyone's lying to you for one, but everyone's lying to you in the sense that they want to sell you an idea of what it's like to be realized, to be a real player within the game. But what I've noticed about the game is as you embrace your own life and your own journey and you keep on going up the stair step of your life as you keep advancing the levels, the more you're going to recognize that there are levels to this shit. It's just like there's levels to the game. And so you pass one level, boop, you go to the next one, you go to the next one, you go to the next one. They're unquantifiable, the levels themselves. They're almost like they're illusionary in the sense that there are no borders between things. But when you step into a certain paradigm, you can tell it's observably different to how it was, in the last paradigm that you were in 3 weeks ago or whatever. You're in a different level. You're in a different density of your reality. The thing is, as people grow and they expand, especially influencers and people here who want to sell you an idea about how reality works, a lot of them, what I've noticed, is they just get really comfortable at looking at their map. They're on the map that they've always been on. It's the map that they know very well. They know every little corner, alleyway, pathway, side quest, main objectives of that map. and they have mastered this map, so therefore I can tell you as a spiritually evolved being how this whole game of reality works. But thing is, they're on a very small location, so they've just expanded their exploration of how well they can interact with their map. So it makes it seem like they're really, really good at navigating life, because the life that they sell you is the map that they're on, the level that they're on. And so there's an increased density of how one can finesse and move within their level. But the thing is, every new level in life always calls within you something totally brand new. It's like each paradigm you go, you are literally learning lessons that feel ancient, feel archaic, and feel like they are piecing together a form within you. But like I said previously, it's not like you can just like look at what is the form within you that's missing and externally search for it. Life in a way is dynamic in that it will send you the new lesson, the new code. It's just how well you can interpret it or recognize what you need to do from the information which has already been created and prepared for you. So that's how that works. And the thing is, why people lie to you about this concept is because it incentivizes them to see you in a certain way. It incentivizes them so that you see them in a certain way so that they can gain the energy to further give them the material goods so that they can continue to travel on their level and make their level as comfortable as possible to delay the ever present, and probably they know it too, always fact that there is a new level behind this and you have to go higher. But people reach comfort zones. They reach points in time where it's like, I don't want to go to that level. I don't want to really go up there because I know what's up there. So I'd rather just make my level I'm at right now just as comfortable and cozy as possible, make it my own space so that I don't have to continue the process of authentically letting go of my life. The thing about when you're young and you're figuring life out and stuff is all you want to do is live your life and build things and grow and whatever. But as you get a little bit older, you'll start to recognize that the people around you, they aren't doing that. The people around you aren't quite growing enthusiastically and aiming high towards their dreams. The same as when they were when they're like 15, right? When you're 15, everyone's thinking about this. I mean, not everyone, but it's quite common to like be in high school. Your friends are doing something really cool, especially now that we have the internet, all these technologies, all these little gadgets and things. You can post pictures, do whatever. Everyone's doing something cool. But when you get older, that's not the case. In fact, it's very common that people get stuck and caught up in patterns. And the patterns that they get caught up on are predictable in nature. They're like, they're so easy to recognize that this is a pattern. And the fact that you don't see it as a pattern is itself kind of a part of why the pattern is funny. And don't you see it? But I think that when you get older, there's a type of haze that goes over your eyes towards even your own life. There are qualities to your life which you can no longer see. All the brightness and the sparkliness in every street that you walk down when you're young, every place is new, everything is new, every person is new. Everything is new. And so when you get older, even if you go to a new place, the sparkle in the air towards life itself is just not as there as it was when it's younger. And for me, I still have the sparkle. I still got the spark. Trust me. And I think that that's the greatest thing that I have allowed myself to keep. Because when you lose that, like I said in the beginning of the video, when you lose your just youthfulness and your vitality, and you sell your soul to an illusion of reality, that you have all this obligation, all this guilt, all this shame, all these patterns that you need to heal about yourself, and you're on this big journey and you'll never figure it out, whatever, and you should just feel terrible about. I mean, there's all these crazy ideas now just about being like a straight white male, right? All these crazy ideas just about being, even though I'm not white necessarily, but you know what I mean, right? It's just like life is just sending you all these signals to just, you know, interpret this, use this, change your reality this way, make this part of your reality true. Let's all make this true now because we all agree that the more you adopt other people's ideas into your mind that don't genuinely fit there, the more it will just cause you pain, and that pain will be visible to everyone else around you. That pain will be visible to even like people that are closest to you, people even that you just meet anywhere. You'll just have this darkness around you, which others can see, but you may not ever see it. Is because everything that gets so deeply embedded to your being are going to naturally and by default be so close to you that your like eyes can't pick it up. You just actually can't pick up your true and authentic nature because whatever is installed to you is so at the base layer of your own operating system that it's basically impossible for you to even see it or interpret it. You just don't even have like the compiler within you to process it. And oftentimes when your life goes down or bad or whatever, that's the times in which you can actually process things at that lower level and see reality for how it is. And those times are usually the better times in your life. So life is a game. It's a movie. There's a lot of stuff that's happening here that a lot of interesting inner workings behind the screen. And it's not about figuring it out. It's not. You don't have to necessarily figure it out. It's about holding on to the bit of value that you do have and trying to amplify your energy in the correct way towards something which matters to you now. And just ensuring that the entire process of that, you're just being as real as possible. And if you're being as real as possible about everything that you do, and you don't allow bad ideas into your mind while simultaneously staying open minded, I don't know how you can fail. Because that's what I do. You can't fail. The only instance in which you will fail is if you give up. And if you give up, then it's like, well, you have to understand there's no point in giving up. That's something that, like, maybe that's just a part of how my brain works. I don't know. But giving up just isn't, it's like a concept to me that doesn't make sense, which is why I'm almost guaranteed to win. There is no giving up. There's no just like stopping, growing. I don't know. I don't care how old I'm going to be. There is no concept of where I just stop growing. Even on the day I die, I'm still probably going to find some way in which I can grow. And as long as you maintain that, it's not even a growth mindset like personal development wants to sell you. It's literally the only way of being that makes sense. As long as you maintain that, you try to maintain your youthfulness and vitality about yourself and really try to, you know, actually take care of yourself. I don't see how that, if you don't do those things, that life doesn't exponentially get better for you. And when life gets better for you, when you leave the trails of the past you behind, you'll come to a position where it's like you'll be on a mountaintop overlooking all the past yous. And you'll still see future versions of you that you need to become, but you're already so high up that the future yous don't even really matter because you've already climbed the mountain. And I think this existential, always need to climb the mountain quality which we're sold, the personal development idea, there's always the next thing, the next business. You're making $1,000 a week, now it's got to be 10,000. It's got to be $1 million a month, and you're always sold that there's something that you're almost there. You can do more, but you like really have to do more. When it's like you don't. The highest risk to reward on your time is to always approach your life approximately that you're ensuring that you're enjoying your time doing what you're doing. Anything else that you're doing that is like feels obligatory or like you're super responsible for it, and it's like this thing that if I don't do it, some XYZ bad thing's gonna happen. All the psychological pressures that we stress ourselves out about are the qualities of reality, which are the traps that send you on these side quests, send you on different areas of the map that when you come back, you'll recognize there's nothing there. Nothing positive comes from doing a bunch of things that don't matter. And so much of life in this game is just things that don't matter. It's just like, look around. The internet that you're sold on these things, right? The life you're sold, how things are, all the media, all the news. This bad thing happened. That bad thing happened. You look outside. It's fine. Everywhere is fine. Everywhere is going to continue to be fine. There's a lot of distractions in this game, and a lot of teachers that will come along the way that will tell you they know the answer. But like I said before, always weigh what you're hearing with a baseline of intuition, which you're constantly processing around and amplifying and getting much better and more precise at what you can process. And if you do that, that's how you win the game. Because life itself will always send you the signals in real time, everything you need to know to become the version that you're supposed to be. It just doesn't happen any other way. It's just like you will be literally given all the signals that you need to live the life that you're supposed to live. And there's a certain quality about life, which it does feel like you start to step into the life that you were supposed to live. Because there's that quality to the nature of reality, which is present in that there's patterns that exist in past, present, and future. And it's like we're shuffling around this like quantum chess, which we're directing ourselves, the character moving around. And there's positions that you can be within the board game that feel distraught and terrible and bad, but all those are just temporary plays that position you for the next thing. And maybe the entire map, the storyline of the line that you have to travel is the life that we look back on and say like that all the bad times made the greater times that much great. So it's not even about the destination, it's about these points in time which make up who you are. And if you don't process life correctly, you'll leave parts of yourself in time. And what the spirituality movement wants to tell you is that you have to actively go back and recover those things. When I would say, I don't think you do. You just have to keep going forward on your trajectory, and things will just automatically fill in. Automatically, some qualities of your life will just fill in, memories will fade, and they weren't memories that you need to go back and recapture and learn from and find out this is how I am. Because you don't have to go back to the past to find out why you are the way you are. All you need to do is go back directly into this present moment to find out how you are right now, change the pattern right now so that in the future you are the version which you're imagining in that direction. You don't have to keep on looking back to inform yourself about now. Just look at you now and look to how you can change it. So life is a game. There's all these qualities where we can upgrade our character, choose our missions, choose the right ones, pick up little tools and gadgets and put it in our bag and make use of that however you want to. The main idea essentially is that there is a mission, there is a path, there's something that you know you have to do. And the more you do not listen to that key objective of your life, the more that it will just show that you're actively not listening to it, which will almost make people be repelled by your existence, so that it further pushes you towards going after what you want. So life it's as necessary and unnecessary as you choose. It really is. And I wish someone would have told me that when I was younger, is that you don't have to put yourself through an endless set of trials and tribulations so that you can gain knowledge of just a couple simple things that you could have found by either learning from someone else's experience or learning a completely different way. So, I mean, that's actually pretty typical advice to give people, to be honest with you. You ask any old person, they'll basically just say what I said now. But hope it makes sense to you, because life is a game, and you can play it the way that you want to play it. And there's also times where if you play it wrong, it will show you that you're actively playing it wrong. But there's sometimes, and there's something too, kind of going off the map, going off the into the uncharted path and discovering your own way, that you will find that, oh, there's a different way to play the game, and it's not really right or wrong, it's just I found a cheat code. And I'm going to be sharing with you a lot more of those cheat codes. So stay tuned.